welcome to Grey County Life at Home. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda, and this is the always entertaining Charlie Brown. And good morning, Miss Mary Jane.
Oh, good morning, Rhonda. And it's so good to have you back. I'm glad to see your big smile.
Well, I gotta say, a little breakaway is definitely put me in a very happy frame of mind, which is awfully appreciated. It's been a long slog for 2 years, hasn't it?
Well, it seems that way. Last week when you were off, we were talking about January. You know, that little phrase that goes 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31 except January. It has 973 days. We finally got past that, and now we're into February.
You know, it's so funny because honestly, some days it feels like these last 2 years have been so surreal that it's been so long. But then at other times, I feel like it's just gone by in a blip. And we were talking. I will mention it, even though we've got Jackie's coming on later, her Wellness Wednesday video on YouTube today, and she's talking about habits and how habits can be formed in 28 days. And good Lord, 28 days goes so fast, it's insane. So if we can create a good habit for ourselves in that short amount of time, I think it's worthwhile. Although, boy, it is challenging sometimes. I was planning to get out on more walks with Mr. Charlie. And of course, we've got a big snow day today and it's crazy slippery out there. So I think we're going to have to bypass it today, but definitely on the to-do list.
Well, we always have that, and getting through the to-do list can be a challenge sometimes. But we're now into February, and February has a lot of landmarks in it. The city of Owen Sound is having their Snow and Sound frolics all through the month of February. Say
Who
that
picked
one
that
fast.
name? Who picked that name? Even reading it, I find challenging, but at least we don't forget it easily, which is a good thing.
No, so they have this little competition going on. If you snap a picture in front of one of their Snow and Sound frolic signs, wow, and then send it in, and then you can win prizes. So it's good that the City of Owen Sound, the tourism and events, have got something to keep us busy through the month of February.
Sure is.
February is also Black History Month, and Black history is Canadian history. And it's really critical that accurate Black history, Black Canadian history is being taught in our schools. And if folks would like more information about how to make that happen, you can go to blackbiblio.com, and this is supported through Rogers Sports and Media. And apparently there's kits available to help teachers talk about in their classrooms about Canadian Black history. And just for my own knowledge, just because I am always interested in learning new things and expanding my knowledge, I came across Carrie Mae Best. Now, she was born in 1903, and she became Nova Scotia's poet, writer, journalist, and civil rights activist. She is also the founder and publisher of the Clarion, which is the very first Black newspaper in the province of Nova Scotia.
Wow.
She was also awarded the Officer of the Order of Canada in 1979. And she is described as the epitome of courage and determination. And when I was going through the website, she was also on a stamp, a Canadian stamp. So it's really important that we learn about all of the Black history in Canada, and there's so much more to learn.
Yeah, I mean, it's so relevant to today, when new things are coming up about our Indigenous history, our local history, the Black history. It's, it is amazing how our history and our view of it gets framed by those that are writing it, the history, and who decides what we all learn. And yeah, very interesting, Mary Jane. Very interesting.
Well, it is important. It is important to get those history books accurate and inclusive.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I wanted to give a quick blurb too. I don't know if people know, but Georgian College is definitely calling out for more people to get some spaces for rent for their students, places for these kids to stay. And I just wanted to put it out there that I've done that. And you know what? It's awfully nice. It's comforting knowing that I have somebody else here. And it's getting to know another person. It's having compassion for another person's life situation and meeting new people. And it doesn't hurt to help, with some of the monthly bills. So I just wanted to recommend that if you haven't looked into it, you should maybe consider it, because I personally have found it to be very rewarding.
Oh, that's a really great idea, because we're shaping the minds, the activities of our youth. And Georgian College is a really good anchor in our community, not only for the students who live in our community, but bringing new students into our community. And housing is always critical.
Is it ever? My goodness, especially, these times for sure. So we have a fabulous show lined up today. We have the wonderful Jackie Ralph coming to talk to us about our heart health during the month of February, and mental health heart, I guess. I'm not even sure, but Jackie's going to explain to us. And we've got, who's the other person, Mary Jane?
Well, we have Teresa and Maureen from Fresh Roots, and we're going to be talking about their new adventure and their branching out.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
When an impaired driver killed my brother DJ, my life changed forever. Life has changed for all of us during the pandemic, and many people are turning to alcohol and drugs to cope. Even though most of us are staying home more, police across Ontario are seeing an alarming increase in impaired driving and the horrible devastation that goes with it. Now, more than ever, we need your commitment to never drive impaired and to encourage all of your family and friends to do the same. Together, we can save lives.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Welcome back to Grey County Life at Home. We have some special guests this morning, and I was actually just reading on Facebook this morning some menu options because I'm planning to come down for breakfast. Mary Jane, who are our guests today?
Well, as we know, February is all about the body, the mind, and the spirit, and we have Teresa Pearson, the manager at Fresh Roots, and Maureen Britton, who is her sidekick and helping out with the cafe. But we also have an update, because Fresh Roots has been anchored in our community for a while. But now, Teresa, you're branching out into the Fresh Roots Cafe. So tell us what's going on.
We are so excited to have finally our cafe open. It is the story of the little engine that could. We did not give up. It took 5 years of planning and dreaming and writing grants and painting and building, and our folks never gave up. That was the amazing part. They so wanted a cafe to be able to work in, and so January 12th, we opened our doors and had our first customers come in. Yeah, it was great. It was really good.
Well, this is a new initiative, and tell us more about the impetus around this new initiative, because who's working in preparing the food?
So at the heart of all of our social enterprise initiatives is employing people with mental health experience. A home, a job, a friend is the line that I hold dear to my heart. And I really believe it is what all of us hold dear. And our folks are us, are the community, and it matters to them. And it gives them a reason to put their boots on the ground. And they are so proud to have one more place to be able to work in our community. And Maureen worked incredibly hard with them to they all got their safe food handling certifications. And many of them didn't even believe they could, never thought, and they aced it. And to have that confidence to, I always say I have the privilege of reminding them of their awesomeness. Mm-hmm. We are often a very deficit-based society, and what a privilege to be able to remind people of how amazing they are, and they truly are, right? They're warriors. They get up and fight the fight every single day. And they come in and they share their beauty with us, and they work so hard and they work so beautifully with each other, and they're so kind and so supportive. So yeah, it's so beautiful to have one more branch of Fresh Roots, right? We have the gardens, we have community gardens, food forest, we have catering, and now we have a cafe. So yeah, it's super exciting.
Oh, this is amazing. And Maureen, it sounds like you're an integral part of the boots on the ground and getting things going. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm the cafe manager. I started in October here. I oversee the everyday, day-to-day duties and tasks follow through. And I also trained with the staff. The folks, they did the safe food handling training with me, and they did really exceptionally well. And like Teresa had said, some of them didn't feel they could, but with the patience and them taking their time, and they could see that they actually could, and they got it, and they were so proud, and I was so proud, and Teresa was so proud. Everybody was just so proud of them. So they've come a long way, and they did a lot of preparation to be ready for the cafe opening. So yeah, it's been great. Mm-hmm. And it's a real pleasure and honor to be here amongst all of them. every day. I look forward to coming to work. So it's fantastic.
Well, it sounds like not only are you building food handling skills, food preparation, and now you're into food serving in a cafe, customer relations, and all the skills that go along with meeting folks as they come into the cafe. And so it sounds like you're building more than just food services, that you're actually building community.
Yes, we are building a community, friendships, great customer service, and like Teresa said, a home, a job, a friend, and like a family. So we're building a lot of things within the community and with our folks, and it's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing to know that the people can come in and feel comfortable and feel at home and know that they're going to leave happy and they're enjoying the whole atmosphere, all of it. So it's very nice.
Wow.
I've been following you on Facebook, and there's a whole community out there that is so enthusiastic and wanting to support you. And even Rhonda said she's checking out your menu. So Teresa, what's on the menu?
There are all kinds of things on the menu. Hot sellers right now seem to be our Monte Cristo sandwich, which I don't know why I waited 59 years to have my first sandwich on Monday. I had asked Chef Adrian, what do you feel like cooking today? And he said, what about a Monte Cristo? And I said, well, what's all in it? And it was fantastic. And they have been flying out the door this week. We've really gone with, some standard classic sandwiches and then having some fun. We have I call it the Elvis sandwich. So it's like French toast, bacon, peanut butter, banana, but everything, there's nothing over $6 on the menu,
that is
right? I mean, and it's affordable for the entire community, right? I mean, coffee is $1. It's Ironwood coffee. It's our teas are the 4 o'clock line of teas. And in the summertime, of course, we grow our own herbal teas. So we'll have our own iced teas that we will be selling. We have, butter tart. Oh, Jackie's saying butter tarts. Trevor.
Teresa, that's because maybe Jackie knows Mary Jane and I and my personal obsession with butter tarts. So thank you, Jackie, you gotta call that one out.
Have you ever had one of Trevor's butter tarts?
I haven't.
Get down here. One of our staff just phoned in an order for 12 of them. So,
gosh. All right. I know where I'm going this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Slippery roads or not, I'm making the trek in.
Yeah. No, his butter tarts are spectacular. It's his grandma's pastry recipe. So, yeah. He makes it himself. So we will have certain consistent, like right now, I love the breakfast quesadilla because it is with our smoked jalapeno salsa. And so a lot of the things are still from our gardens. And of course, so we'll keep standards on that we notice are selling well, but then we will, with the seasons, rotate bringing things in from the gardens. Right, so what else do we have that? Oh, the grilled Greek wrap is really a hot seller right now.
And the grab and go things.
Yeah, everything is grab and go right now. We are keeping it takeout for now, just because we did have a bit of a COVID where we had to close down for a while. Thankfully, none of our folks so we just thought, you know what, for now, let's just do takeout and let everyone find their rhythm, get their feet under them. We just opened, and then we'll eventually welcome people in to sit down. So yeah, there's fresh muffins. Today it's chocolate zucchini bread. Well, every day it's different, Jackie. So yeah, just different, whatever chef feels like making, right? I mean, so, but there will always be a muffin. There will always be fresh soup made.
And we also have frozen soups.
We also have frozen soups available. Right now, there's, I think, 8 different kinds of frozen soups, including vegetarian, gluten-free, and our folks are welcome to sell their items in the cafe. We sell dried teas and lavender and catnip, the most potent catnip you will find. I will wager the most potent catnip in Grey and Bruce County. I dare anyone to say differently. Everyone comes back in and goes, oh my God, my catnip. I know.
You know, I personally, I love building on the successes, like you say, you know, when you've got a place to go, you've got something to do, you've got somewhere where you're needed, and you experience some success, and you've got that support of people with you going through, you know, lots of the same stuff. And boy, we're all going through lots of stuff these days, and to have that support, just phenomenal. I personally think that your timing is impeccable.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and you're 100% right. I mean, it is so much about all of those things, right? I mean, and that clear, consistent message of you matter, right? I mean, you matter.
Yeah. And I love the, what is it, home, job, friend. I mean, the basic needs that, you know, we've all, I mean, we're seeing people struggle with housing these days, which is just a tragedy. And a job, you know, I've personally experienced being laid off. And at first, you know, you think, oh, this is great, you know, a little time off. But boy, it quickly changes to not having anywhere to go and feel needed and productive. So it's, and friends, I mean, gee whiz, that's huge. Yeah, that's huge. And you guys are just doing a phenomenal job, I think.
Thank you.
One of the things that I wanted to squeeze in here before the end of the segment, Maureen, there's something called Pay It Forward at the cafe. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we have our Pay It Forward board where you can, the guests can come in and pay it forward. So then someone can redeem it from the community. If they just are having a bad day, they don't have the funds available that day, they can select an item off the board or 2 items off the board. We offer coffee, soup, and a sandwich or a muffin. So they can select one of the two of the items, and then hopefully next time, if they are able to, they would be able to pay it forward for someone else. So it's just a nice thing for people to know that they can always come in, and even if they don't have the money, they can always still be able to fill their bellies with a warm soup and a coffee. And yeah, a lot of people have been very generous paying it forward. So we have a lot of items available for the people to come and select if they need to. And it's just.
So what you've done is you've created a safe space for everyone.
Absolutely.
Whether you have.
Yeah.
Well, I can see Jackie in there. Jackie, you're not on yet. Just a minute.
But she's our really big champion.
She is amazing.
So if you don't happen to have the cash on you that time, and you can pick something off the board and still feel that you're welcomed, and it's, you know, you're part of a community that is supporting you, and it's a very safe space to be able to do that.
Absolutely, that's the goal here, is so that the whole community feels welcome, no matter anybody's circumstances. Everyone's welcome, and everyone will feel at home and be able to enjoy something.
Well, this is an amazing adventure. I mean, you started with the gardens, then you went to the catering, and now you've branched out to the cafe. So, and it took 5 years to put all of this together. But Teresa, I don't think that you've stopped here. And I'm sure that there will be something else going on in the future. The wheels are turning.
Oh yeah, I have lots of, we've already bought a little, I would love for one of our folks that, because sometimes people like to be outside and do something different. So I have a bike and a trailer, and I'd love, because we would never do the like 30% going to some other, but that we could do delivery downtown, you know, like have someone put a bike in a trailer and deliver to people their lunches and that sort of thing. I would love a food truck eventually, like that sort of thing, and then have like mental health resources on the food truck at the same time, like doing that sort of, going all throughout Gray and Bruce, and have a youth team with us on the food. It'd be so amazing. So yeah, I could just keep going forever.
Well, we're going to be starting.
People, when we do that, we just keep hiring more people. That's what it's about, right? So yeah.
Well, we certainly need that. Not only do we need the joy, we need the jobs, we need the fellowship, and we need the safe spaces in our community. This is fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your interest. It really matters that you care, and that you ask the kind, thoughtful questions, but it really matters that our community wants to know about these things. So thank you very much.
Yeah. So I want to ask, because we're almost done, but I want to make sure that everybody knows, what time are you open and where are you located?
Okay. So we are open 7 days a week.
Wow.
7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we are located at 1028 2nd Avenue East.
Okay, so 1028 2nd Avenue East. What are you beside?
We're part of CMHA, right? So we're in between like Channing's and Metro, sort of.
Perfect. Yes.
That sort of a strip. Yep. And there's always parking out front. Like it's a great spot because there's always parking out front to stop, hop in, perfect, get what you need.
Awesome. Teresa, Maureen, thank you so much for coming on today and telling.
I'm sure right now a lot of you feel like you aren't able to be who you truly are.
What's most important, more important than everybody else knowing who you are, is that you know who you are.
As a young person, time moves slower for you. And just know that things will get better.
It Gets Better Canada is a registered Canadian charity with a focus on uplifting our queer youth through the power of digital storytelling.
As a Two-Spirit person, I use they, them pronouns, but that's not the case for every Two-Spirit person.
There are so many voices out there that we didn't have 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
No matter what your mind tells you, you really are perfect the way you are, so stop beating yourself up so much.
I'm gonna be a boy in a dress, because why not?
Your identity is explosive.
We all have our unique journeys, but one thing that connects us all is the desire to be happy, the desire to celebrate being our authentic selves.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Hi, I'm Colby Barlow. I'm a right winger with the Owen Sound Attack. Get great OHL action on Rogers TV as we bring you Owen Sound Attack games live, both home and away.
Welcome back to Grey County Life at Home. I'm Rhonda Brown, and this would be Charlie Brown, who I was just chuckling because he's completely relaxed and comfortable and I think he likes seeing Jackie personally. You just have that effect on people, Jackie, which is fantastic. We were talking about atmosphere of our places, and I think that I think you are a very bright shining star wherever you go, and you tend to spread joy, which is just a real blessing and a talent on your part, lady. As I was saying this morning, I was watching Wacky Wednesday, and yes, I love seeing that, and talking about the 28-day challenges in February. And I know a lot of people that I know are doing dry February, which I think is phenomenal. Good for them. I think that that's a really good program too. But there's lots of other things too, and I'm not even sure if that's what you're here to talk about today, Jackie. But we'll just throw that out there. What other challenges are there?
Well, so I brought them all because I thought that's exactly when you guys sent the topic, and it was all about looking after your heart and taking care of your health. I'm like, well, that's exactly what all these challenges are about, on top of kind of breaking out of some of those Groundhog Day loops we kind of get stuck in every now and then. And it's I just love that book that what's the book, When Going on a Bear Hunt, right? And when you're kind of stuck, you can't go around it, you can't go under it, you can't go over it, you got to go through it. And that's what all the challenges were about. And there's my dry February. Woo-hoo. Right? I love demonstration tools. And then who here remembers last year when Stacy Fenwick did his 25 push-ups for 25 days? And every time he did his push-ups, he did a video about it. And he was in a costume or outside or doing something goofy. And talk about the power of humor, because he did these goofy videos. And at first he didn't have it public, right? When you just have it on your Facebook page. And then people were like messaging him and saying, you got to make it public. You got to make it public so I can share it. And then, 10 people watched, and then 40 people watched. And then next thing you know, he's got 5,000 views, and he's getting messages from Australia. He said the one message he got from wherever it was, hey dude, thank you for your video. I watched it and I belly laughed. And he said, and where he was from, they were in lockdown. He says, I haven't belly laughed in months. So kudos to you, because I didn't think it was possible. And so, that was just incredible. A challenge that was initially started to raise awareness about PTSD and services around PTSD was now creating fellowship and humor and joy and smiles in Grey Bruce, but beyond. So really amazing.
It's amazing. It is amazing. That's funny that you should say that, because I, honest to goodness, last night came across some joke on Facebook and I was crying. I was laughing so much. It is not appropriate, but it was hilarious. And I'll just it was about an electric fence and an older couple. And I just was killing myself laughing last night. And I just thought, boy, does it feel good to remember how to laugh. And sometimes it's just something that's funny, they're goofy, that strikes us, which is huge.
It's huge. So good. And and when we think of all the those were challenges around dry February is obviously about breaking a habit, right? And 25 days of push-ups is about taking care of your physical health. And then when the other challenges we were talking about, the random act of kindness, right? And that's about creating joy through just connecting with somebody. And those challenges are great too, because again, maybe I'm not so good at the 25 push-ups, cannot lie, but I can always, say hi to somebody on the street, or, write in a journal, or put on my dancing shoes, or those things maybe don't give the belly laugh, but they maybe give that internal sense of, see, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, and how empowering that can be.
Well, I think it's all about finding joy in the small stuff. because it's harder right now, although we're easing up on restrictions, finding joy in the bigger stuff. So I think it's just finding gratitude and using vocabulary words that lift you up.
Yes.
And making choices around trying to stay on the positive side rather than slipping into depression or not feeling good, trying to keep a balance. But I one of the things when I was knowing that you were coming on and we're talking about, I wore my heart today for you. It was all my colors in my heart. And balancing mental health and heart disease. Apparently, the more optimistic you are, the more you laugh, the more you do things with joy, it actually reduces the heart disease or the onset of heart disease. So I didn't realize that the two were linked so closely together.
Isn't it amazing? Even so early on in the pandemic, not early on, but like quite a few months into the pandemic, they actually released a peer-reviewed study, and it showed that when you walked in and you thought to yourself, I'm here to get my shot, and I'm doing this for the community, and I'm doing this to keep people safe. And when you walked in with that, they were able to scientifically show people had less side effects. Their arm didn't hurt as much the next day when they walked in with that feeling. That's just a feeling. It's not like, I took a couple of vitamin C before I went or anything like that. It's just going in with that space and how powerful that space can be in our recovery, in our overall health. It really is magical.
Wow.
So the more that you do to support your mental health by being outside, engaging with others, even if it's social media as opposed to in person, all those little things help you in terms of the health of your body and apparently your heart health. Now, we all know that there's things you shouldn't do, like, the 10 things on that checklist for heart attacks.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I've to give an example, the example we use in the schools a lot. So if anybody wants to Google Jennifer Hudson, she's a performer and a singer, and she had been on American Idol, and then she was in Dreamgirls with Beyonce, and she had a really terrible thing happen to her family, and it caused so much big feelings. And she had gone forward and said, I need to take some time off. And there was a bit of hustle around there. Is that a good idea? You won't be famous anymore if you're not touring and doing things. And she's like, well, but I have to look after me right now. So I don't care about that part. And so she did. She took off those 8 months. She looked after her own health, got outside, made healthy meals at home, spent time with her new baby, date nights with her new husband, all of those things we think of in terms of self-care and looking after your physical health. And when she came back, she was more physically healthy than when she left, even though that wasn't the intent of taking that space. The space was to look after this and look after this, but the positive side effects of that were just immense.
Wow. I had no idea about that, actually. I knew there was tragedy in her life, but I didn't know that she did that. So that's very interesting. It is amazing. I mean, your outlook, your perspective on things, we can hunker down with something and obsess about it and ruminate on it continuously, and it can just drag us down. But when we step away from it, and there's a lot to be said for, the spiritual side of things, of letting something bigger take care of that, and we're putting it in a box. We're just going to put a pin in that. It's all the same idea, isn't it? Of just stepping back from those things and focusing on the happy and the good and the positive.
Because again, if we remember, mental illness is an illness, right? It means it's just like any other illness, like diabetes is an illness of my pancreas, right? Mental illness is an illness of my brain. So if I always break it down to that biology, it just means a path in my brain is not working the way it's supposed to. I'm not starting to feel better after a really terrible thing all by myself. And that's my brain's job. My brain's job is regulation. It's like my internal thermostat. So if it's not doing that by itself, it means a part of that isn't working. So I can positive thought the heck out of things, but if that pathway isn't working, it's still gonna be in that space. So when we think of, again, all the parts around mental health help is all about, it's kind of like going to a physiotherapist when you've pulled a muscle. You do things over and over and over again to get to that point where that muscle works again. That's what counseling and psychotherapy, CBT, DBT is all about, is about practicing that new muscle. So eventually it's working the way this other muscle wasn't doing it before. And so we can, that's definitely part of it, but it's about practicing that joy and practicing that positive that helps so much with that illness.
Yeah. I think most people find that they have periods in their life where things just seem to be sliding down for them. And one of the things that I'm really grateful for is the work that the CMHA is doing within our community, because it is a community-focused program that works with all ages and all stages and all degrees of your mental health. And now you're with the Fresh Roots Cafe, you're looking after our body health as well as mental health. But I think that we can recognize the fact that this happens to everyone at some stage in their life, and that there is help and strategies out there. And I realize, Jackie, you can't go door to door, but every time you're out in the community, you simply just bring joy.
And that's always our goal, right? Is that we hope that when people drive by 1020 8 2nd Avenue East and they see the CMHA sign, we want them to know, oh, that's where I can go if I'm that 1 in 5 today or tomorrow or next week or next month. We want them to know that the folks that work in this building are their neighbors, are their relatives, are their friends, they live in the same Grey Bruce region that they do. We want they're us, right? And that's our ultimate goal, is we just want all of us to have the best mental health possible. And we know that we could have the best services and the best people, but if people don't know about them, then they don't know to come. So that's always, again, why, just like we were talking in the last segment, we're always so thankful when people want to talk about us, because we're like, because that means maybe one more person watching is it's their muscle, aka their brain, that's not working the way it did before, right? I have a 2010 Caravan. I swear to goodness, one part breaks down every week, right? And so it just means I go get it looked after, and I take my van to the mechanic. I don't take my van to my hairdresser, right? Well, maybe if they're that talented, but you take that part that needs help to the people that know best how to do that. And so go figure, if I have 100 billion parts in my brain, 100 billion, go figure one of them's not going to work the way it's supposed to every now and then. And that's how CMHA helps. And we got to say, we don't do this by ourselves. We do it in partnership with Grey Bruce Health Services, with Keystone, with OSHARE, with Safe and Sound. This is also something we've worked really hard to create, is the pathways in the community.
Well, I think it's really important what you said, that it is a community and we're all part of that community, and that we want to get rid of the stigma, so that if you're having a time in your life that just isn't going well for you and you think you're kind of sliding towards the edge, it's better to contact you before you go over the edge.
Always, always. And when I think of stigma, I always think of it as I only know what I know till I know it. And so when I hear another person's journey or something that somebody else went through or the help that somebody else got, then I'm quicker to recognize maybe that in myself and know, oh, maybe that could help me too. Absolutely. That's always the intent is. So when we think of getting stuck and just in a place where we're not so great, when we can get closer up to the top of that little river and we can give people the information and awareness and the knowledge, that hopefully we can pull people back out of that river quicker than possible. That's always the intent.
Yes.
Well, I think you guys do an absolutely amazing job. Mm-hmm. And every time I think of you, Jackie, I have this memory of you singing outside of the seniors' residence with the top of your voice and your boombox, playing loud music and singing and bringing joy to the residents when we were all in that very first lockdown. So to me, every time I hear your name, I think of you singing out in the cold.
It was so cold, but it was so fun. Yeah, it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And good for my mental health. So it was to be honest, it was a selfish move on my part, because when I go once a week or once a month and I can get there and be around people that just are so happy to see you, how can that not have a positive effect on your own mental health? So yeah, it's pretty selfish actually.
Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Just doing for others certainly gives us joy in our own heart. So if somebody's struggling in our community, or if we know someone that's struggling, we give them your name and number.
Yeah, yes. Right?
I was thinking, okay, call Jackie, because she'll know what to do.
Yeah. It's happened before. I remember once, just really quick funny story. I remember there was some kids we were seeing at one of the schools, and they were going away for holidays, and they knew they weren't going to be there for our next show. So they had looked at me up on Google. Well, they found my cell phone number. So at 5:45 one morning, I had this call, and I'm like, who is this calling me in the morning, 5:45? And it was these two characters, and they're like, hello, is this Jackie? And I'm like, yeah. Well, so we're going to be away when you come to our school next week. So we wanted you to know that it's not that we don't like you. We just aren't going to be there. And I'm like, it's because they Googled and there was my phone. It was the best thing ever. But yes. So we have lots of options, and options mean finding fit. And so we have the mental health crisis line, which is always there 24/7, 365 days of the year, 1-877-470-5200. And that's just somebody to listen and reassure and, bounce ideas back and forth, and then connect you to supports if that's what you need, right? The crisis help. We have our one number, 371-3642, and that's for all our services.
Okay, awesome. Jackie, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your joy with us again today. And we look forward to seeing people down at the Fresh Fruits Cafe as well. So we will be right back after these messages with some adorable adoptables.
Hi, I'm David Shearman, host of Politically Speaking. Join me for my next show, where my guest will be the staff or the Director of Education from the Blue Water District School Board. Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
Welcome back to Grey County Life at Home, and we are into our segment, The Adorable Adoptables, with Miss Renee. Hi, Renee. How are you today, and who is our guest?
Hi, guys. I'll see if I can get her in. She's not loving the camera. Here you are, Lovey. There it is. There it is. There you are. Oh, you're gone. This is my friend, Chinook. And Chinook is an 8-year-old husky, and she's been with us since before Christmas. I don't know what the heck is going on with that, but we're here today hoping that we get her moving. Chinook, being 8, I think some people are a bit hesitant with that. They think she's an old gal. I mean, she is, but there are certainly bonuses to that. She is much quieter than a younger husky would be. She's also had a lot of training, which is nice because she's been around long enough to learn some stuff. She is good with large dogs. Now, here's the kicker, probably part of the reason she's still with us. She's not good with cats, and she's not good with small animals. So, like, if you had some chickens, she'd probably, eat them. She's not good with rabbits, not good with squirrels. I mean, let's be honest, she's a husky, and that's what she's supposed to do. So I think that's been a bit of a discouragement for people. A lot of people have cats, which is great. But if you do not have other pets, this dog would fit absolutely perfectly in your home. She is quiet. She had some training. I mean, most huskies can be really active and big barkers, not Chinook. She's a quiet girl. She's also not a very big husky. Can we look at the camera? Can you look at the camera just for like a second? Can you just look?
Very pretty.
There she is. She is only actually about 45 pounds, which is a really small husky. She's losing some of her winter springish coat now. It's transitioning through the seasons. This is a good sign. Who needs a groundhog? I can tell you spring is thinking about showing up. It's true. This is how we learn. So she is a little extra sheddy right now, but once she loses that coat, it's not going to be a big deal. They actually shed seasonally and in large piles, as opposed to like your lab that sheds all the time. So sometimes people prefer that. I mean, to each their own, really. And she is quiet in the house. As I said, she's a pretty easygoing girl, aren't you? Pretty easygoing, just not for like chicken stuff, right? Just not chickens. Really, her vetting has been done, so pay for that as well, which is another advantage to taking an older dog. You save yourself a little bit of money in the long run. I mean, again, 8 is not real old. I know people think it is. I mean, it's definitely not that bad. Here you are. No, she's like, I don't like the camera. The life expectancy of a husky is about 15, 14. So, I mean, if all goes well, she's got lots of life left in her. And I mean, she's not quiet enough. She's going to sit around and do nothing all day. She's going to do stuff, which is nice. Right. I bet you want to go play in the snow.
No, I just wanted to check Renee on camera around what has happened with Fish.
Fish has gone to an amazing home. He went home very quickly. All the extra TLC and publicity we gave his story certainly helped, and we're so glad to see it. He was somebody who definitely wouldn't have made it in life without us, and really, really glad to know that he's in a great spot. He's an only pet with some older children, and they've been asking for a cat for a very long time. So he's getting the absolute spoiled treatment that we were hoping he'd get in life. So it's a really, really happy ending for him.
Oh, certainly glad to hear that. It was a bit of a sad story, but certainly a happy ending. And we certainly want a happy ending for Chinook, too. She is absolutely beautiful.
She is. And the sweetest dog to go with it. I mean, I'm not always the biggest fan of a husky. I mean, I like them, but I don't usually, a very specific home for them normally, where I'm like, if you don't know what you're getting into, you're not going to work this dog out into your life. Not the case with Chinook. She does not have a typical personality. She's quiet and easygoing and loving, which is really quite nice. Right?
So she would work well in a family with older children and not other pets, smaller pets.
Absolutely. Unless you have a bigger dog, she'd be okay with a bigger dog because they're not prey. Sorry. I mean, she doesn't look like much of a predator, but she has a bit of a prey drive.
Well, that's part of the breed, though, the instinct.
Is absolutely. I mean, I don't know very many dogs that live with chickens, and definitely not a husky.
So last week, when Aislinn was on the show, because you were off, I asked her if you were taking any donations in, and just if you could review that, what you would like or what you need.
Absolutely. Thank you, babe. All right. Thanks. Just a sec. Okay. We are always in need of dry cat food. That is one of our always need the things, because we always have cats. And the reality is we can feed an older cat, a younger cat food. So we do need it. Kitten season is starting, so dry kitten food and canned kitten food will be in our next need list. We always need cleaning supplies. We do need dog food, but I have to be honest, we don't go through it as much as cat food. If you have to choose the other, we need the cat food more. If you have towels and blankets that you no longer can use and you're not sure what to do with them, the shelter goes through them like crazy because dogs like to make a mess of them. Let's do the cats. So always a need for that. And of course, money donations are super helpful because that pays our vet bill. But an easier, everybody's got kind of a thing is your newspapers and your flyers. We use them to line the litter boxes. That's an easy one for everybody to do. And again, your blankets and towels, or even rags, things that you used to use for cleaning that you don't anymore. It might be something we can use. We'll take just about anything, and if we can't use it, we'll donate it to somebody else who will use it. So it's all good. We'll take care of it.
Awesome.
Thanks for the kisses.
Well, I would think Miss Chinook won't mind this little blast of winter that we have right now, and hopefully she gets a loving, special home for her, just like Fish.
Would be amazing, right?
Well, we look forward to our update next week with you, Renee, and our adorable Adoptables Corner. And we really appreciate you joining us on Grey County Life at Home. We hope you stay warm and safe this week and stay off those slippery roads. So hopefully by next week, this will be gone. Yay! We'll see you hopefully down at the Fresh Roots Cafe getting a butter tart or maybe a sandwich and some soup. That would be lovely. We hope you have a great week. See you next week. Bye.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Operation Smile, alongside our medical volunteers, provides safe cleft surgery to children free of charge thanks to generous donors like you. That was until we fell into a pandemic.
If you only knew what I'm going.
By December, tens of thousands more children will be waiting for surgery. Please help us keep our promise and deliver smiles to children in need when surgeries resume.
It isn't the heavy trays that make the job difficult, or the fast pace you need to keep up. It's not working another double because someone called in sick. What makes the job tough is the moment